So, in this quick video, we will see how we can integrate controller or joystick support for our game. I'm going to use a controller, a PS3 controller actually, but it's going to actually be the exact same principles if you want to add a joystick support for your game. Now, before we start with our inputs, the first thing we have to do, and we actually have done this, I'm using the space simulator project over here, but it's not necessary if you can use it in your own games. Now, as far as code is concerned, we prefer to use get access and get button instead of using the input.getKey and then hard coding a value. And the added benefit we get from this is that our user and our players can change the input mapping from the splash screen of our builds. Okay, now let's go back into Unity, and since we are using axes and buttons, the only thing we need to do is go to edit, project settings and input, and from over here you will see you have the default axis and some extra I've added for our games. So the default horizontal and vertical axis have already pretty much saved have some axes that we can use, and let me quickly fix my desktop so that we can see it in action. So now that I have set up my scene over here, my view, you can see in the right upper corner, you can see that I have my PS3 controller connected, and if I hit play, even without adding or changing anything in the input manager, since we are moving with the horizontal and the vertical axis, I can move my ship with the left thumbstick. Now let me bring my input manager. Now I know in my game, I know that I'm moving around with the mouse. I can look around with the mouse. So I'm going to go once again into my input manager, and I'm going to add 3 more axes. The first one will be mouse X. I'm going to delete the negative and the positive button. The gravity I want it to be 0. I want this to be at 0.60 for the dead, and sensitivity to 0.9. Now this is some values I've googled around and play test, and it worked okay for me. So the type I'm going to change it to joystick axis, and the axis, now I know that the wireless PS3 controller uses, for the right thumbstick, uses the 5th axis, and for the next axis is going to be the mouse Y, and I'm actually going to make this the 4th axis, and the Y, I'm going to delete the negative button. I'm going to use the same values on the dead and sensitivity, and I'm going to change it to joystick axis, and this will be the 5th axis. So let's hit play and let's see what we are doing now. So now with my right thumbstick I can look around my space. Now this of course is when I'm making it go up, it actually goes down. If you want this to be inverted, then the only thing you need to do is go and click the invert, and it's going to invert the movement, and it's going to be the way you like it. And now if we want to, something that you need to keep in mind though is that every type of controller is going to have to use different axes, but you don't have to worry so much about it, since you can, if you set it up once with a controller, then the player can actually change the axis and the input from the splash screen of your build. So now if we want to add a button, then we simply need to go to a new axis, and I'm going to use the throttle. I'm going to copy paste it. Negative button, I'm just gonna leave it as it is, and as a positive button I'm going to say joystick button, and let's say 0. Now let's hit play and let's see which one is 0. And the X on a PS3 controller is actually the 0, and as you can see I can move around it with my spaceship. Okay, so this is basically it. The only thing you need to do over here, you can change now you can change and add the axis so the users can change it to what they want. Now keep in mind that every joystick is different, and actually the wireless PS3 controller is different than the regular one, and that the arrow keys are actually an axis and they are not actually keys, so because they are pressure control. So that's basically it. That's basically this tutorial. It was a pretty quick one. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can support me on Patreon if you go into patreon.com/C#accent. So thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you next time.